In this video, we're gonna be talking about, is the title good or not? Let's talk about it. With the release of Guardian games, the title had dropped along with that. Currently, you can get it by dropping medallions in the tower and then just kind of like farm that. And honestly, the drop rate is super insane. So like, go wild. The reason why I was so intrigued by this gun is because it drops with the origin perk Classy Contender. With that perk, every single kill that you get will actually get you class ability, which is insane in a meta where there are fucking titans out there just spamming shields and getting over shields or whatever. You have hunters that are at 1000% upkeep with their invis, and then you also have warlocks that are using Child of the Gods, and honestly, I have opinions. Now let me get this straight. I personally think that the perk is kind of gimmicky. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I have opinions. You're gonna get your abilities pretty quickly, but like, you know, it's something kind of cool to have, but it's not necessarily something that's like super OP broken, which I mean, I'm kind of glad it's not. The perk could be a little bit better, but it's kind of a thin line. In some of the clips you're seeing on my hunter, I'm using Mask of Brachus with this because like, you know, you're gonna be dodging, but whenever you dodge, you have like a 10-second cooldown. So it's gonna help you get back to 100 quicker than if you didn't have the perk on whenever you were getting kills. So yeah, something to keep in mind. And then in other clips, I was using Astrocyte Verse to be able to combo the Child of the Gods and also Blink just to kind of like keep jumping around and stuff. And so Classy Contender did help a little bit just to kind of like get my Rift back up. But yeah, it's just something to have, and it's not really like a necessity. It's a little gimmicky in my opinion. So for its base stats, we're at 14 impact, 46 range, 28 stability, 53 handling, and 31 reload speed. So yeah, that's, I mean, kind of average, I guess. The Ikilos SMG has the same archetype, which is an aggressive frame, but it also has a lot better stats overall. Or you can look at an Extraordinary Rendition. That gun has like a ton of insane rolls that you can actually get, and like it's also the same archetype. You do 22 to the head and then 16 to the body, and it takes 9 crits to the head to be able to bring you down to a 0.64 TTK. But let's be real, like what does this gun roll with? Like that's the thing, like you can have like some okay stats, but like perks can make a gun. So on the third column you have Threat Detector, Grave Robber, Stats for All, Steady Hands, Dynamic Sway Reduction, Perpetual Motion, and Hipfire Grip. And then on the fourth column you have Swashbuckler, One for All, Vorpal Weapon, Moving Target, Focus Fury, Turnabout, and Surrounded. So right off the bat, I like Threat Detector, I like Dynamic Sway Reduction, and I like Perpetual Motion, but that's personally my take. As far as viable damage perks, I personally like Swashbuckler and Focus Fury. With the max amount of stacks, Swashbuckler has a 0.48 TTK, which is, you know, that's nothing to sneeze about. And then Focus Fury, whenever you proc it, it has a 0.56 TTK. So, you know, it's... you have options. Now let's go ahead and talk about what I think a god roll is. So I like a small bore, I like high cal for that flinch, I like the dynamic sway, and I like swash. Like that is like peak pinnacle. So with this god roll, you'd be able to go from 46 range all the way up to 60, and then you'd also take your handling from 53 all the way to 62. And so you also increase your damage fall off because of that range. It's all in the little fancy diagram below. And you know, it just so happens I actually got this exact roll, but you know, I got it a little bit later. But I had something similar and I played around with dynamic sway and swash with ricochet rounds, and honestly, I really liked that combo. But you know, what can I say? I'm kind of a damage perk enjoyer, you know. You can go full Chad and then end up going with dynamic sway and also moving target, which like, I mean, that's actually a viable combo too if you want that stickiness, but you know, I'm a sucker for like the damage perks, man. One thing to note also, Stats for All and One for All for PvE is fucking goated. Like, don't ignore that roll. Definitely look for something with that because that is going to be really, really good, especially with Void 3.0 and this gun being Void. Oh, One for All and Stats for All perks with the Void 3.0. Now, one last thing, they're actually going to be changing the way submachine guns perform in PvP, so they're increasing the damage fall off by 1.5 meters, and then they're also adjusting the zoom values on most of the viable SMGs that are out there, because as we all know, they all have variance in zoom, and it just doesn't feel good when you play with the low zoom SMG versus like Sharia's Wrath. So yeah, that's something to note. It'll actually bring everything a little bit closer together, so maybe this gun would be pretty good post that change. In conclusion, I kind of like this SMG. I like the perks that it rolls with. Classy Contender is a little bit gimmicky. It's not really something that you can like rely on and then just kind of count on it to carry you. And the best thing I can say about this SMG is that it's a good middle of the pack gun. Like, I would farm for this whenever you have the opportunity. It's super easy. It's a Void gun, so it meshes well with Void 3.0, and it also rolls with Stats for All, One for All, and it's honestly really good for PvE. But for PvP, there's obviously like better choices out there, so that'll pretty much do it for the video, and as always, take it easy, Guardians.